Hello, hello. Welcome back, nerds. The boys are finally back.
Yes, yes. May the fourth be with you, everybody.
May the 4th be with you. Surprise! We're back just in time for our national holiday, May the
That's
4th,
the nerd anthem.
the nerd anthem. So today is episode 3, which corresponds with episode 3 of Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. So
Yes,
we
sir.
will call this one tentatively Revenge of the Nerds.
Naturally, there's no other way.
Yeah,
Has to be it.
has to be. It's fate. Duel of the
Yep.
fates, if you will.
Yep.
Um so Harry and I were thinking today to celebrate May the 4th, we'd go over all the things we love about Star Wars, including, where we started with it, our favorite movie, our favorite characters, and maybe even sneak in a couple things we actually hate at the very end. Just cause, just cause. Uh,
Just so everybody knows,
just
last time we argued about this, or someone got me going on some of the stuff I don't like about the franchise, we almost got kicked out of a restaurant.
It's actually true. Me and Harry are banned in 3 different Chili's after we talked about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney Plus. So I'm Ray Skywalker. Okay, I'm done. I'm not going any further than that.
Oh man.
We're gonna get sidetracked. So to kind of start off, Harry, why don't you tell me? Do you remember the first time you saw Star Wars? Like how you were introduced to it?
I know how I was introduced to it. I don't know like my specific age. It had to have been young. I would say probably around like 7 or 8. But
Yeah.
my dad was a huge sci-fi nerd. Like he was Star Trek, everything. Like he was always on the Sci-Fi Channel, the whole nine. Obviously, like the movies were out for a very long time, the originals. So I think I was introduced to those. I must have been 8, and I remember seeing them for the first time, and that was like mind blowing. Like I remember when I saw lightsabers, I immediately wanted one, and then I had them, and then me and my dad and friends, we were all beating the hell out of each other with plastic lightsabers, and it was literally the best. Like it opened up, it opened up my imagination to the ideas of like sci-fi and like that we're not just people on this little blue rock. Like there could be a possibility of like another world out there, and that just blew my mind. Like it was revolutionary for me. It honestly was.
Absolutely. I think I actually don't remember how old I was, but I know I had to have been super young. A, because of the next detail about to tell you, and B, because of the house I was living in at the time. It was my first house that I ever lived in, so I know I had to have been young. And then the next part is my mom actually got the original trilogy. She rented it from the fucking library. Like, who even rents a movie from the library anymore?
Blockbuster's alive back then.
Yeah, well, us poor folk back then, we fucking rented our movies from the library because the library card was free. Um, so my mom rented all 3, and as a kid, I just remember the first thing I remember is Darth Vader. And when Darth Vader came on screen, and even though the first time you meet him in the movies, he's choking a bitch out, I was so confused. He looked so cool to me as a child. I was like, that's clearly the good guy. And I thought the rebels were the bad guy, and my mom tried so hard to like correct. She was like, no, those are the bad guys. I'm like, nah, like that guy
You
that
have
guy
no
looks
idea what you're
cool.
talking about, Mom.
Yeah, mom, you're actually a nerd. Like that cool black guy, no, he's definitely the good guy here. And these rebels need to give him his fucking plans back.
Yeah, they're called rebels, Mom. They can't be that great.
Literally a bunch of assholes. So that's actually like my first Star Wars memory, and then from there on out, it was like I was obsessed. I mean, literally obsessed. My grandmother had these VHS tapes that had they had all kinds of like bonus content on them with like interviews with like George Lucas,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff, and I must have watched those things so many times, like over and over and over on repeat. I had model toys. There's a Darth Vader helmet behind me. Like, obviously, to this day, still, even though with my hatred of all things current Star Wars,
Easy there, cowboy.
pump my brakes a little bit. Even with how I feel about most of the new stuff with Star Wars, like obviously, I'm still a huge Star Wars fan. I spent a ungodly amount of money to go to Disney World here in Florida to just go see that lame ass Ray Skywalker cosplayer at Star Wars Land. Um, so it's been a fan of Star Wars my entire
Do
life,
you
and
remember? You
I've always
remember
been
when the cereal came out with the lightsaber spoons?
I
Dude,
yeah,
I used to try and collect those every single
brother.
color.
I had the Mace Windu one, and I thought I was so fucking
Oh
cool.
yeah, the Mace Windu one was so cool.
Oh my
It's
god.
awesome.
What about there I don't know if it was Pepsi or Mountain Dew, I can't remember, but when Phantom Menace came out, so like obviously I was way too young when I saw the first original trilogy to like fully grasp it. But when I got like, I don't know, like 8, 9, 10 years old, that was when
Mhm.
Phantom Menace came out.
Yeah, I think
So like,
99.
yeah, so like I could appreciate it more.
Uh,
So when Phantom Menace came out, they had like Pepsi cans with like all the characters on them. Bruh, tell me how as a child I had like unopened Mountain Dew cans with the different character pictures on them sitting on like my shelf, and my mom is like freaking out, like clean this shit out of your room. Like you have all these soda cans
it's
just
the
sitting there.
best.
I'm like, no, mom, they're collector's items. Uh, I
It's
was such a
great.
little fucking 8-year-old incel.
It's funny, like, and to actually the George Lucas, they pitched these movies to a bunch of different companies, and they kept getting denied over and over and over again. And I believe they
Yeah.
made it with their own budget the first one. Like
Yeah,
they
he
got their all
actually
they pulled their own money.
yeah, he fronted a lot of the money,
Hmm.
and it wasn't until, like, the 2nd movie after the first one blew up,
Where they
like
got
Empire
picked
Strikes
up.
Back,
Hmm.
yeah, that he got a shit ton of money, but, he ran so far over budget that they stopped, like, giving him an increase in budget, and he had to, like, cover the rest out of pocket, so, like, he fucked himself still, but it ended up being, like, arguably, like, in cinematic history, most people consider it to be the greatest sequel of all time. Like the Terminator 2 is up there, Empire Strikes Back, maybe like Back to the Future 2. Like I can't think of
I would say it has to be. I would say it has to be the best. I don't see any
I
other
agree.
movie. I don't see any other movie that is so like. I mean, I'm not talking about like whether you're a sci-fi fan or not, or whether you like appreciate Star Wars or not. But the fact that that movie alone pretty much changed cinematography for forever at that
Mhm.
point for what it did, everything that I had, for the plot twist that I had, the story, and
The
then the
special
box
effects
office.
alone.
Yeah, like it just blew out of the water. Like even if you watch it now, like the graphics aren't the best. Obviously, it's a what 40-year-old
uh,
old movie.
Yeah, it's what is it, 30, 40 years old? It's
So
older than
obviously
I
it's gonna
am.
be crazy. But even when you watch it, it's still like it's not as bad as you would think. For what year it was made, it's not as bad as you would think. Like it's really not.
Put it this way, like they used a lot of practical effects like puppets and things like that.
Hmm.
Now today, they've done so many things Star Wars related that were just CGI fests, right? In their most popular series, the most popular thing they've put out since Disney bought this property is The Mandalorian. And what do they use all the time? Practical effects, very comparable to what George Lucas used
Yeah.
in his movies.
Hmm.
When Yoda first was introduced in Empire Strikes Back,
Puppet.
people had never seen that shit before. They
Yeah.
had Jim Henson, the freaking Muppets creator, his company
Mhm.
running Yoda, and people were like blown away by how cool this
Yeah,
thing
because people
was.
didn't because there wasn't like props like that. It was either you were an actor that was painted like that, or like you were like in a costume, but that was like unheard of.
Yeah, just like the original Incredible Hulk movie. It was just
Hmm.
some jacked guy
It was
painted
what's
green.
his oh my god,
Lou
what's his
Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, just some jack dude, just
Just
painted
painted
green.
green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, whoever made that movie, they're like, how are we gonna make him though? Like special effects wise. And like, we're gonna
Hmm.
fucking paint him green. What are you dumb?
Yeah.
We just get some bulky dude and paint him green. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
so
insane.
it you know, it's crazy how much Star Wars has changed my life.
And everyone knows Star Wars too. Like nobody
Oh,
does not know. Like even
yeah,
if you've never
there's so
seen
many
it,
people. Oh, I've never seen it, but
you still know the quotes. You still know quotes of the movie. Like you
Luke, I
still
am your
know.
father. You know, do or do not. There is no try. Like
Yeah.
I said, literally the other
I
day.
have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, literally the other day, my boss said she was going to try to do something, and I just texted her back, and I said, "Do or do not. There is no try." She was like, "I hate you." Oh, but it's just crazy to me because, like, not only Star Wars like kind of molded my personality a little bit in the sense that like it like pointed me in the direction of like the friends I would choose for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
Like the second I saw somebody that was into like Star Wars, like immediately I gravitate to that person because I know we have something in common, and like usually we're able to become friends, and it's just it's just crazy to think about like how this piece of media in this franchise has like affected me
I think it's
and
cool
helped
that it just
shape me.
sparks so much creativity in individuals.
Yeah,
Even if it's not your cup of tea, just thinking about what a bunch of dudes thought about and brought to reality after like
yeah.
there's no idea of space travel or anything like that. Like it was just they came up with all this in their head. They created this whole big intergalactic world and all of this lore for it all by themselves. And it's kind of cool. Like if you
Yeah, it's
think about
insane.
that.
The vastness of the canon and the vastness of like how much ground the story covers, and
Mhm.
the amount of people that have contributed to it, all of the different authors that made books that are canon in the series and these
The
things like that,
comics.
all the comics,
Mhm.
all those things. And before we move on to the next kind of part of this, I just wanted to say one more thing. I listened to an interview the other day with Elon Musk, and they were asking him about things that like kind of inspired him to like want to do space travel. Like what, where did this obsession with rockets come from? Where did you want to where was this obsession to like get to space come from? And he said, to be honest with you, the first time I saw A New Hope, Star Wars, like ever since that moment, I've basically been obsessed with trying to get to space. And dude, I just thought that was mind blowing. It was like
Yeah, it's
Star Wars
awesome.
affected this dude so much. Now he can freaking like he's building his own rockets and like sending them, trying to get us to freaking Mars. Like
Yeah, that's
that's
insanely
crazy.
cool. That's insanely
That's
cool.
crazy to me. So kind of moving on a little bit here. Obviously Harry and I are going to tell you what our favorite movies are. So, Harry, why don't you go first? Favorite all time, all nine movies. Go.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say The Last Jedi. I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
All right, so this is actually a tough.
Triggered!
This is actually a tough one for me, because there's two sides to it. Like when you talk about Star Wars, it's kind of funny because everything becomes relative as more content starts to be released. Like for example, when the prequel came out, the prequel was extremely criticized when it first came out, and a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people didn't like things about it. The actors, the dialogue itself was questionable. But then as the newer stuff started to come out, the prequel started to look a lot better, and then people started to kind of like the prequel more. Um, but it's hard for me to make a decision because like when I think about Star Wars, it's the big three. I mean, the prequels and the sequel are just they're just additives to the story for me. And if like gun to my head, if you were to ask me what my favorite movie is, like everything that happens in it, the from the story to everything that happens to the main character, the things that they overcome, the things that are revealed, I would have to say it's Empire Strikes Back. And like I don't even think that I don't the only other thing that would come close would be Revenge of the Sith, but Empire Strikes Back has to be number one for me. I mean, from the beginning of the movie, like when they show they're on the ice planet. I think it's Hoth. They're on the
Yeah,
ice
Hoth.
planet Hoth, and they have this like new base, and it's like total new terrain. They're not in space at this point, so they're on this planet. They're going around. Luke gets kidnapped by the abominable snowman, and it's just you want to talk
Motherfucker
about
from
terror.
Rudolph.
Yeah, you want to
Motherfucker
talk
from
about
Rudolph kidnapped Luke Skywalker. Like, god damn.
you want to talk about a terrible, terrible Wookiee suit? That's gotta be one of the worst ones.
Yo, they
Um,
just took the Chewie suit and bleached it. It
just
looked like
spray painted it white, and they punched them in the face as many times as they could to try and fur it up. But that's cool. Then the fact of like that's when you first meet Yoda and Luke Skywalker goes to the planet to find him, the train, and he's going through all the training, and that's when you hear all the famous Yoda quotes where you're just like, what in the hell is this fucking little dude talking about? And it's just everything's a
this dude's
puzzle,
taking
everything's
mushrooms in the swamp.
everything's a question. There's no answers. Luke's getting frustrated, but like they build a lot of the character in this, and like so much happens in the movie. Like they have Luke. He's in one planet. Then he goes to another planet where he's with Yoda. He's training. He's doing everything. He's finding his way with the Force. He's has this old man that's questionably trying to harass him or not. We don't really know. and then and then
Sexually
he
harassing him through the Force.
yeah. What's that?
Ben
What's that
Kenobi's
tickle?
about to get me too'd.
What's that tickle in my back, Yoda? Oh, the tickle you must not worry. um but and then you have the other side where it's like the giant, like one of the biggest plot twists in cinematic history, where Luke has to go and save Princess Leia and Han Solo, and he goes into the trap, and Darth Vader's there, and they have this epic lightsaber battle, which is super super cool. When I first saw that, I was like, I want to fight all my friends. I want all my
Yeah.
fights to look like
I
that.
want all the fucking smoke right
I want
now.
to cut one of my friends' hands off with this plastic sword.
And let them
Um,
know I'm their father.
literally. And then like you have like that the most famous, like you have the biggest plot twist in cinematic history where it was just like unheard of. Then um all of that goes down. He finds out he's his dad. He's freaking out, no idea. And then one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars, which is the um the battle on Hoth when they have like the AT walkers, and they're all taking them like there's just a
Dude, the snow
giant
speeders with
battle.
the
The snow
harpoons.
speeders are tripping these things. It's just so cool. There's
Those
so
things
many
are so
things that happen.
badass.
And that scene, like honestly, that scene, like I actually rewatched that not too long ago, and I was actually fairly impressed with that scene with the snow and like the harpoons and like the actual tripping of it. It was actually pretty cool. I mean, mind you have to realize that they were basically using figurines that were like the size of like a computer mouse, like they were walking on like
Yeah.
terrain. But it's pretty impressive how they made it. It looks pretty good. Like for being made
Yeah.
in the 70s, it looks really, really, really good.
Dude,
Um,
it looks insanely good actually.
yeah, like
Considering
I was
considering the
shocked.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
same.
shocked when I rewatched it. I must have watched it, I don't know, 2 3 months ago, and I was like,
Mhm.
wow, it's actually a lot better than I thought. Now, granted, I know that since they've turned the movies digital, they have upgraded some of the CGI and they have changed some things. So when you
Yeah.
watch, like if you watch it on Disney Plus, for example, the older movies, they have gone through and changed things, added CGI to make scenes look better. Like they've taken
Yeah.
like some of like the animatronics out and put CGI in it and replacement. So that kind of is like a cheat in a way, but it's
Yeah.
still it's not as bad as you would think, honestly. Like
No,
there's
I
there's movies
agree.
there's movies now, like horror movies that are released that have worse graphics than what they had for Star Wars in the 70s.
Bro, there's scenes in Ant-Man that had worse graphics than Empire
I don't
Strikes
I don't
Back.
I don't know if I'd go. Oh, I guess Modoc, but
MODOK. Yeah, MODOK.
but
Motherfucker looked like an N64 character, okay?
literally. But then I guess, like I said, the only honorable mention that I have was Revenge of the Sith. If I wanted to go with straight action, and like actual like being a super nerd and like seeing cool shit happen, I would say Revenge of the Sith is very cool because all the fight scenes, you have Anakin who's turning into Darth Vader, who's turning psycho. His eyes are turning evil. It's like there's everything that's going on. The dialogue and the acting is not the best, but the action scenes are cool. The lightsabers, Hayden Christensen, I think is his name, that plays Anakin.
Yeah.
His choreography that he went through, like I've watched videos of him going through like the lightsaber choreography and stuff, and he
He
helped
and
create a
Ewan
lot of it.
McGregor, the
And
guy that plays
he
Obi-Wan.
and he literally brought what the comics tried to bring to life when they talk about like keep like individual's ability with the saber, like how strong of like as if like a swordsman per se, but just saberist, and how strong they are and how skillful they are. And he showed like his acrobatic ability in these movies or uncanny, like they were uncanny to anyone else. Like I can't think of someone else that would do better. And now, which hurts the sequel, is you have that and then you go to what the sequel movies had, and it's like it's not even close. Like they literally
Wait, what do you
made
mean? Rise of Skywalker with Adam Driver and
they made
Daisy
when they did the
Ridley?
Revenge of the Sith, they made a very cool doorway that just has not been reopened yet, and I really hope that they do, because that's the stuff that fans want to see. That's the kind of stuff that's the action that people want to see. Like nobody like spaceship battles are awesome. Like I love to see the X-wings. I love to see the different TIE fighters and stuff like that. But I've seen it a billion times. I want to see some crazy acrobatic lightsaber action, and the prequel had that. The prequel had that better than anyone, and that's what the
Yeah,
prequel has. That's their biggest attribute, I would say, um, as far as the three different trilogies.
yeah. Um, so as far as Empire goes, like, I would love to argue with you on anything Star Wars related, but I just can't argue with you. Every point you make about Empire Strikes Back is like dead on. So,
Mhm.
I think for me, what I liked most about Empire Strikes Back, and for maybe our younger audience, if we have any younger audience that hasn't, that maybe didn't get to grow up with Star Wars, or maybe you haven't even seen Star Wars yet, but you're kind of like into nerd culture or whatever, I would compare Star Wars Empire Strikes Back to Infinity War of the
Yeah,
Avengers. It's the first time you see the heroes lose, but this is in like the freaking 70s, when like you've never, like in every movie that's ever come out,
the good
the
guy always
heroes have
wins.
never, you've
Mhm.
never seen a hero lose ever. And then in Empire, you see your main character get his hand chopped off, find out that the main villain is his father, and Han Solo, the most badass guy that you've ever
Rebel,
met. Yeah. Han Solo, the
smuggler.
most badass guy you've ever met, is frozen in carbonite, and he's shipped off to um
Not to mention test frozen. They didn't know it was gonna work, and Boba
yeah, we
Fett was
didn't even know if he
pissed.
was gonna die. Yeah.
Boba Fett was pissed because all Boba Fett worried about was his bounty for the hut. That's all he cared
Hmm.
about. Him and Darth Vader almost went at it because when he said that he was gonna freeze Han Solo, he was pissed because he didn't think he was gonna get his money.
Bubba was ready to spray that
He
spray
was
that
ready to
shit,
go
Darth
down.
Vader.
Yeah, that was
He was
funny.
ready. He was, you know I'm a Darth Vader fanboy, and I would have paid good money to watch him fucking cut his head off like in the sequels. What Mace
100%.
Windu did what Mace Windu
Absolutely.
did to his dad. If they would have just
Yes.
killed Boba the same exact way, that would have been
100%. That'd been great.
so lit. The poetic justice there. Um, you said my favorite movie. Actually, my favorite movie is actually Revenge of the Sith.
Mhm.
And there's two reasons for that. The first reason is that I am a Darth Vader fanboy. He's my favorite character. So seeing his origin story, if you will, is so cool to me. And then I think the thing that the prequels got to do that the original trilogies never got to do, and don't get me wrong, when I say this, I'm not saying this because I like the prequel trilogies more than the actual main trilogy, because overall, obviously, the main trilogy is better, objectively. But the thing that I do like more about the prequels is the exploration of the political aspect of the
Mhm.
Star Wars universe and all the world building they get to do.
Yeah,
Um,
I like
and
that.
Palpatine, like just manipulating Anakin throughout 3 movies very slowly, I think did that storyline so much justice, especially when you go back and if you go look at like all the subtle things that Palpatine says throughout that prequel
Mhm.
trilogy. And then to kind of see it all come to fruition and like him execute that plan at the end of Revenge of the Sith. I'm not gonna lie,
Execute order.
yeah, I was gonna say that moment always gets me, bro. When I see that little blue bitch in the forest get mowed down by clone
Dude,
troopers.
and what's cool about that is that like I wish that they would have done more shit about the Jedi that were on like that were exploring and like trying to like keep peace. I wish that the prequel would have done more of that because that scene
Yeah,
was cool and
yeah.
they actually cover that in the cartoon, the Clone
Hmm.
Wars cartoon. They cover that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, the Clone Wars show actually shows a whole bunch of cool aspects of Order 66 that you don't get to see in
Execute
the movie.
Order 66. Do it. Do it.
Um, um, so, uh, you know, episode 3 for me, like when that movie came out, I think it was like 15 or 16 maybe, and I was such a little shit when, um, God, I was such a little shit for doing this. When Anakin comes in, we're in the movie theater, me and my friends at the time, we're in the movie theater, and Anakin comes in and he goes to murder all those younglings and he shoots his lightsaber out and he's just gonna kill those kids. And I literally stand up in my theater and start clapping and cheering. And I think back as an adult now, I'm like,
Piece of shit.
I would have beat that kid's ass. Like, get him out, get this kid out of the theater. But I was hype. I was like, it's it, it's over. He's Vader now. Like, he just killed
He
kids.
is
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
he's literally him.
Yeah.
There's no going
Uh
back after that. That's why his eyes turn bloodshot red and yellow.
Yeah, we love that. We love that for him. So I think I think that's probably one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars history, actually.
That's fucked. I was gonna go lighter. I was gonna say that scene is really cool, and they do execute Order 66, and Chewbacca and Yoda are on
The Wookiee
like the
world,
jungle,
Kashyyyk.
the jungle island or the jungle planet with all the Wookiees, and then they start fighting the clones. That's a cool scene.
Yeah,
But
Kashyyyk, the battle for Kashyyyk, the brief scene that they showed,
mm,
especially when they came up behind Yoda
and
and
he
they
just
thought,
wiped their shit.
bro,
Yeah,
they
their heads
thought
were
they're
gone.
like, yeah, they looked at each other like, let's kill the little fucking
Yeah, what
idiot.
can he do?
Yeah. Yo, my man beheaded them with the just
One swipe.
absolute with zero prejudice, just took their heads off.
And Wookiee just
And
looks
then
at or Chewbacca just goes. He looks at him
literally,
like shrugs his
literally,
shoulders like.
like that was him saying GG in Wookiee.
Yeah,
He's like, fucking
I guess they
GG.
fucked up.
GG, idiot. I don't know. Um,
it would have been better if Chewbacca like tried to pick up their heads and like put it back on. That would have been great.
yo,
Like he's like what happened?
yeah, he starts playing with it like that little game that they play on the Millennium Falcon, where the little
Oh, with
characters
the
just
little
body
chess
each other.
pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the little chess pieces just body each other.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Oh my god. But yeah, so Revenge of the Sith is definitely my favorite movie. The political parts of it, the world building, dude, the ending scene and this is honestly the whole movie. I joked around and said my favorite scene in the movie was when Anakin kills the little kids, but for real, my favorite scene, no shit, when there's a meme somewhere. I gotta find this meme after. I'm gonna let you talk for a minute while I find this scene after this. But, um, bro, when the Jedi come in to arrest Palpatine, and
Oh
he's just
shit.
sitting there waiting for them, he's like, "Am I under arrest?" And they're like, "Oh, you're fucking under arrest, pal." And he jumps like this 80-year-old
Like a
man
spiral. Yeah.
fucking does a 400-degree flip spin move and kills two people in one move. And then the green dude with the alien dreads, he pulls his lightsaber out. And he's like, "Oh shit,
Yeah, too late. Yo,
yo!" They got bodied so hard by
well,
him, bro.
I'm pretty sure, like, as far as lore goes, Darth Sidious is up there as far as like one of the greatest saberists in like Star Wars lore. Like he's one of the top guys. Like he's someone you don't want to cross sabers with. Like he's that skilled. But yeah,
I mean, he 1v1s what's his face?
he
Yoda,
1v1s
who's
he 1v1s Yoda and Mace Windu in the same movie.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Mace Windu is known as like as far as the Jedi Order goes, what like the best weapon specialist.
yeah.
So and he 1v1s him with almost ease.
I'm about
I
to
guess Mace kind of beats him in a 1v1 scenario, but I don't know if Darth Sidious was playing the Palpatine trick there because he knew that because there's arguments that he knew that Anakin was watching and he kind of just wanted to push Anakin to kill Mace so that he could bring him further to the dark side. But I actually do like the points that you brought up about like the political aspect. I really didn't think about that too much, but it is a cool difference that they did in that in the prequels when they went through all of that stuff. I think that's awesome.
so this is the meme
920
I was
drunk.
talking about. He said to be fair, there's no way to really prep for walking into a fight with an absolute madman that screeches and does a 920 degree from a prone
Prone
position.
decision. That's great. That's great.
Oh my god! Every time I read that shit, it makes me laugh because that's
It's
like,
so true.
if you go back and watch the scene, he literally screeches at them, and I like he sounds like Bilbo from fucking Lord of the Rings.
Literally. My precious.
Dude, he literally screeches at them, and I watched this channel on YouTube. It was like a lore channel, and one of them was like trying to explain the screech, and they're like, "Oh, it was actually a force power," and it confused them. Like, no, he's a fucking psychopath.
It's a
Like,
force power.
yeah, no, it's a force power to be an absolute mad lad. Okay,
Oh, that
like,
makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's just an absolute fucking unit, and he just shit on,
Yeah,
he shit
he's
on those.
driven crazy by the dark side. Have you seen his the actual face when his fucking old man face melts off? Like
Literally, it.
he looks like a demon. Like,
So here's the thing about Palpatine that I'll never understand, and multiple times he's electrocuted a motherfucker. Okay, and multiple times, we're talking 3 times, including the Rise of Skywalker, he's electrocuted someone with Force lightning, and they reverse the lightning on him,
oh,
and
with the
he doesn't
saber.
just stop.
Yeah.
He just doesn't stop. Like, how long was he shocking Mace Windu? And Mace Windu
Oh,
like reverses it back with his lightsaber, and he starts melting his own face to the point
hot
he looks
minute.
like an actual ball
Yeah.
sack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, why
But
not
I
just
think
stop?
like I said, like I've seen a lot of fan theory about it, but I've seen that moment where Palpatine or Darth Sidious, whatever you want to call him at that point. I would say that he's still Palpatine in that moment, but he's basically Darth Sidious.
Yeah,
That he knew Anakin was watching him, and that he was trying to force, like, look, like the Jedi they're uncontrollable. Like they only want what their way is, or it's the highway. Help me, like I've done everything I can for you to better you, and try to
yeah,
push Anakin to be the one that kills him. Because as soon as he kills Mace Windu, he's out of the order forever. Like he's an enemy of the Jedi. As soon as he does that, it's over. Like, and I think that's more of it. Because I honestly, in a real scenario, like you see how strong Sidious is as the movies go. Like he's not losing to Mace Windu. Like he's not. I don't think that he is.
well, is it that, or is it that force lightning is kind of like, like when you pee and you try to stop midstream?
And then you can't, and
Yeah,
it has to keep
maybe
coming.
that's what force lightning is like. Like he's
I guess it could
midstream, bro.
be.
Like you're just
I
gonna
don't, I
have to
don't,
melt your face
I
into a
don't
ball
have force
sack.
lightning, so I don't know.
Yeah, me either. But I can tell you, it's really hard to stop peeing.
I would say that I
Um,
don't. I would say that as far as the movies go, maybe force lightning isn't the best tactic because everyone sees it and they can stop it. Why not just use like the regular force where they can't see it and they just get pushed away? Like maybe lightning isn't the course of action.
yeah. Um, and
If they
then
can
like
see it and reflect it, maybe it's not the best thing to use.
and then like and then it goes from like absolute, like, I don't know, we're obviously getting into the new movies for a second here, but like when you look at like the last scene of Rise of Skywalker
Stop
and
it!
he just
I'm gonna get
force
pissed off.
lightnings an entire fucking fleet, and you're just like, hold on a second,
Yeah.
a lightsaber can block.
Man put on all Infinity Stones and just
Yo,
zap
my
the
dog,
Avengers Endgame away.
my dog min-maxed that skill tree. Like he got all the way to the end of that skill tree, bro. Then he was fully decked out with skill
Man
points.
turned
He
into
was geared
fucking
out.
super level mutant storm and just took
He
out the whole place with a lightning
And then in
storm.
the next scene, Ray Skywalker blocks that fleet level destroying lightning with a lightsaber. Anyway, we'll get back to the topic here, but yeah.
Yeah, Revenge of the
So
Sith. I mean, like you said, I would say as far like I said before, as far as action, the prequels have the best action scenes. Period. Like
yeah,
across the board,
the
even
final
in the
scene
Clone
between
Wars,
Obi-Wan and Anakin, that fight scene, even though
yeah,
there's some
unreal.
stupid parts, like when they're standing on the lava and they're spinning their
Yes,
sabers for no reason. I don't care that it's dumb. It's dumb. Like, and I realize that there's no combat reason why they should be doing that. I still think that it looks pretty badass,
it
and
does
I'll
look cool. They're
take
floating on
I'll,
lava and flinging their
and
lightsabers
fucking
around.
just they're just doing lightsaber shit. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, man, this is I've got a nerd boner
I
right
would
now.
say the other cool fight, like there's a couple of cool fights in the prequel. One of them was with Count Dooku when he fights
Oh man, that's a
Anakin,
great
and
scene.
when he fights Anakin and Yoda after right after they chase him down, and
Yep.
then at the beginning of like that scene's cool because you actually see Yoda fight for the first time, and Yoda's
Yep.
just like a ball of unhitableness, like he's just jumping all over the place. The man's 1,000 years old and he's
And that's
limber
actually
as
the
a
first time you really see him fight.
yeah, that's the first time you
Um,
see Yoda
yeah.
actually go to town, and
Yep.
that scene's cool. And then obviously the opening of Revenge of the Sith when Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting Count Dooku, and then
Oh yeah, that's when Anakin.
To save Chancellor Palpatine, and then the famous "Do it, kill him, do it,"
Do it.
and then
My
Anakin has
powers
his
have
first
doubled
kill.
since the last time we met.
Yeah, and then that's when Anakin secures his first. I think that's his first like actual
No, he kills the
evil
sand
kill
people.
as a Jedi. Well, no, as a
No,
Jedi.
yeah, he was a Jedi when he killed the sand people.
I
I
thought he
mean, he
was
was an
training.
apprentice. He was
Yeah,
an apprentice
I don't
still.
think he was an official Jedi yet. But yeah, the Sand People, I guess. But when he kills
Also,
Dooku, he's
I don't
actually
know
on a
if we can
mission.
say sand people anymore. I think we have to call them
Well, I
Tusken
mean, that's what
Raiders.
they're called. Well, I guess
I
so.
mean, yeah. Anyway.
But that he killed Count Dooku on an actual mission from the Jedi Order. So he
Mhm.
actually killed someone when he wasn't
In the
supposed
name of
to.
the Jedi too,
Yeah. So but
with a little help from
those
a friend.
scenes, all those fight scenes in those movies, even the battle scenes are awesome, so cool.
Low key, the final fight scene with General Grievous and Kenobi
Oh
too.
yeah, that
Sick scene.
scene's cool. That
The
scene's
fact
cool as
that he
shit.
killed him with a blaster too,
That yeah,
at the very end, that
awesome.
was pretty dope.
That's cool. I also love the Obi-Wan and what's Boba Fett's father's name?
Django,
Yeah, so
Django Fett.
their battle that they have in the asteroid field, that's cool. Like when they're flying the ships,
Yeah, it is cool.
that's sick. And then of course when all three of them are captured in the sand pit and they have to fight their
Mhm.
monsters, then it turns into a all
Oh,
out
at the end of Clone
Jedi,
Wars?
yeah, all out Jedi versus whatever the bug race is, and everyone's just fighting
Yep.
back and forth. The droids come. That's a cool scene
Yeah.
too.
That is a cool scene. That whole movie, I'm not gonna lie to you, Clone Wars is so ass, and it just
It's just
gets
straight
bailed
action though.
out.
By
It gets
action.
well at the end, yeah, but the whole movie itself is literally it's the love story between
It's
what's her
terrible.
face and
Padme.
Anakin, Padme, yeah.
It's so
Um
bad. The whole
it's
like
so
Italy
bad.
scene and like the I would say all as much as Natalie Portman is kind of made from that prequel, all
Yeah.
of the scenes that she's in are almost horrendous. Like all of them. Like they're all overly dramatic. None of them are the only cool one I would say is when they're in and Phantom Menace when they originally go to Tatooine and like she's helping fight off droids. That's the only scene that I can really think of that she's like super cool in. All the other
Mhm.
ones, it's just like you said, it's like drawn out lovey dovey stuff, and it's like we get it. Like they want to be together, but like I don't understand why this is such a big deal because they were trying to do like the whole like their connection was so strong. That's why he's so connected to
Mhm.
Luke and Leia. Like I get it, but it's like kind of annoying. I didn't
So
I didn't like her
I have a
character.
question for you though. I have a question for you. Would you rather, okay, two options here.
Don't do it. I know what you're gonna do.
Would you rather watch on a loop the scene where Anakin floats that dumbass apple over to
Oh, and the grass field.
Padme? Yeah,
Stop
and
it.
would you rather watch that scene on a loop over and over again, or watch the scene "I'm Rey Skywalker" over and over again on a loop?
I'm watching the
Which one?
apple because at least the apple's floating and there's some sort of action.
the apple,
Imagine all the
the
yeah.
apple is actually still a better actor than the chick that plays Rey.
Yes. Yes. And
She has
there's
more
more, there's more,
character.
there's more character development in that Apple scene than there is in the other scene.
The apple had more character development than Ray.
Oh my god.
I'm dead. Oh my god.
And I don't even think I'm joking. Like I honestly
No,
would much rather
absolutely
see the
not.
Apple scene.
And the Ray fans are gonna be coming after us,
Oh,
brother.
I tell you what, we're covering stuff a lot quicker than I thought we were right now. And I wasn't gonna
That
do
just
this,
gets us. That
but
just gets us to the sequel trilogy
the
sooner.
hate train is coming for that sequel trilogy. So if you guys are
Let the
fans of
hate
the new
flow through
stuff,
you.
if you guys are fans of the new stuff, buckle up, Buttercup. It's about to get real hot in here. The heat's coming. The heat is coming.
I personally hope we run out of time.
There's no way.
'Cause
Actually, I want to cover my other thing really quick so I can actually start hating
yeah,
because I'm in the mood now. I'm ready.
now you've had
I'm
our
ready to get kicked
Gatorade.
out of my fourth Chili's.
I'm actually
Um,
banned nationally for now.
Yeah, I can't go. So the other thing that we had covered for this episode that was actually scripted was we were going to go over our favorite like kind of like story or character. I have two things that I wanted to cover that I would really love to see brought into the Star Wars universe. These are both things that are in comics or have been in books that are kind of canon but not canon because it hasn't actually been made yet. They haven't been in any movies or any TV shows yet, but they are they are made by people that write for Star Wars comics and stuff like that. It's not fan theory. One of them is The Legend of the Grey Jedi. At the end of the sequel trilogy, I mean, I guess in a way they kind of brought the Gray Jedi into the ability for it to be canon, because they made Rey a great Jedi in a way because she was able to use both sides of the Force. But regardless, I'm not going to talk about that yet. But basically, like gray Jedi's, they're able to use both the dark and the light side of the Force, and they're not good or bad. Basically, they have their own opinions on how the Force should be used or how to handle situations. A lot of fan theory say that there's a couple of Jedi that we have seen that were classified as gray Jedi because they questioned the Knights Order of the Jedi, which was basically Jedis are supposed to be knights that they follow commands and they go by whatever the book says. Like if the council tells you to go do this, you go do this. Gray Jedi are kind of like, well, I don't think that that's the right choice. I want to do it this way, blah blah blah. So a lot of people have speculated that Qui-Gon and Mace Windu were both Gray Jedi, but was never. It's not canon, but they both were. Every time, like if you like Liam Neeson played Qui-Gon, and he every time in the movie of Phantom Menace, he always was questioning whatever the council was telling him. Like anytime they were like, "Oh, well, we don't like Luke, we don't like Anakin, we think that he's too aggressive or he's too this," and he was against everything that they said. Like, put it on me. Like, I'll do whatever I can. I'm training the kid. He's my apprentice. Whenever they asked him to do something, he was always kind of against it. So people said that he was possibly a great Jedi because he was also very well respected inside the order as well. And then Mace Windu. The biggest thing with Mace Windu is that he's the only person of the council that had a different color lightsaber, which is purple. Everyone else had green or blue because green or blue is kind of like the light side of the Force, and that was like the good color. Um, and he had a purple lightsaber. It was never discussed why. He just had one, and he was always questioning Yoda. Like in all the movies, he was always questioning Yoda's thoughts on something or why he thought that they should do something. He always trusted Yoda, of course, but he was also a very skilled swordsman, and all the great Jedi are like very good at combat. They can use both sides of the Force, um, and that's why they also thought that Mace Windu was able to kind of unpack and always be on Palpatine. Like, kind of always had like a hunch that he was bad because he was able to sense both sides of the Force, and that's kind of like the fan theory of that. But
Yeah. I think the Gray Jedi thing is super cool, and I think
super
that
cool to explore.
you can see like when I pull up Gray Jedi in Google Images, this uh they have like their own code. So at some point in like canon history somewhere, they were their own order. So you
Mm,
have like the Jedi Order, the Sith Order, who are like against them. The Gray Jedi were actually their own order
mm,
at one point, and then you see Qui Gon over here at the bottom there as a Gray Jedi. And before the sequel trilogies came out, there was actually like a story in place that it wasn't canon in the sense that like they weren't making books or making movies about it, but like it was written by authors that had written other canon works where like
mhm.
Luke Skywalker, he built up a temple and stuff like that, but eventually became a gray Jedi.
Yeah.
um so and that's where his character kind of came from in the Last Jedi storyline. Like they think a lot of people think that Rian Johnson, the director of the movie, the writer of the movie, kind of took inspiration from that.
Mhm.
But instead of making a good movie, he just made a steaming pile of shit.
Yeah, naturally.
So
And they
yeah.
also like the Return of the Jedi in the last movie of the original trilogy, um, it's also speculated that Luke Skywalker pulled both sides of the Force. Like he was taking sides of the like pulling power from the dark side when he was fighting his dad, Darth Vader, in one of the final scenes, and that's how he beat him, and that he almost turned over, but then like tailed it back. So like there is speculation that he was a gray Jedi as well, and then that's why turn and turn when Ray at the end of the Last Jedi, she starts to be able to show glimpses of being able to use the dark side too, because it's in her blood. Like she's just
Yeah.
able to do it because of her dad. And I think
Yeah,
in my opinion, that kind of confirms that Luke Skywalker was like a closet gray Jedi, but he was just Luke Skywalker always ran to the beat of his own drum. Like he didn't follow the order by any means. He was his own person.
yeah, he was trained totally different
Yeah,
than everybody else before
because there
him
wasn't an
because
order. There
of
wasn't an order.
yeah, there was no order. He got Yoda to train him literally on his deathbed, essentially.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think for me, my favorite non like kind of non movie story, it's so hard. Like I'm gonna give an honorable mention, but my favorite story is definitely Knights of the Old Republic.
Hmm.
Um, I think that it's a video game for those that don't know,
Great video game.
and it had, I think, one of the best twist twists in a storyline for Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back. Um, Huge speculation, and a good bit of the reason why people like that story so much is this character right here, Darth
Hmm.
Revan,
Badass.
who, yeah, as you can see, a lot of people are fan casting Keanu Reeves here.
Which would be
Um,
I would be fangirled for that.
do you know?
I would be so happy.
I can't even tell you how stoked I would be if they got like John Favreau to direct a movie
Hmm.
and Keanu Reeves to star as Revan in it. Like, ugh,
Because
ugh.
he'd be so good at it, because like you look at like the John Wick movies, for example, and like just so everybody knows, like Revan, like he started as a Jedi, and he basically gets captured, he gets tortured into turning into the dark side, and then comes into like this mixture of like where he's like essentially a gray Jedi and he's able to use both sides of the force, but then he just flips the switch and he's just, nah, I'm a bad guy, and just turns into a bad guy because everything that's happened to him. So it's like I feel like Keanu Reeves would kill that role, because this guy is the best saberist ever. Like as far as like the story goes and everything, as far as like comics and canon and uncanon stuff goes, he's like number one or maybe number two. I think there's one more Sith Lord that was like very strong as a saberist, but I think he was more of like a force user. But this Revan is like I don't think there's anyone that can cross sabers with them and win.
Yeah, so Revan is up there, and I'll give like a brief rundown of like the whole Revan like story and timeline. So, not to take up too much time with it, but just because this is like such an insane story. So, um, basically, what happens with Revan is he's part of the Jedi Order, and a lot of people are familiar with Mandalorians right now. So if you're familiar with like how Mandalorians work and all that stuff, you'll kind of understand this a little bit more. Um, but he's in the Jedi Order, and the Mandalorians are going through New Republic. And timeline wise, this is what we call the Old Republic. This is like thousands and thousands of years before Luke, Leia, Han, any of the stuff that you might be typically familiar with. So like the timelines don't mix at all.
So they could
Um,
easily they could easily run this. They could
yeah,
run this story as like a
without affecting the
prequel.
stories.
Right.
Exactly. So what the storyline is that Revan's in the Jedi Order. The Mandalorians are like going through the Old Republic territory and just like cleaning house. They're taking over planets. They're killing people. They're torturing people. And Revan and a bunch of other Jedis in the Jedi Knight Order at the time were like, they're killing innocent people. We have to do something. And the Jedi Order is like, no, we can't do anything. Our job isn't to fight wars. We're supposed to be peacekeepers, not an army. Well, Revan and a friend of his named Malik, they go into like the uncharted regions of space, and they find like this power to help them fight the Mandalorians, and they go fight the Mandalorians. And long story short, all the battling and war and stuff like that affected Revan and turned, he gave in basically to the dark side, becomes a dark side user. And he was so powerful that once that started happening, um, he also turned his friend Malik to the dark side as well and became his apprentice. So Revan became a Sith Lord and Malik his apprentice. And then he's captured by this Bastila Jedi from the Jedi Order, powerful Jedi in the Old Republic timeline. After they capture him, they use the Force to erase his memory, and he doesn't remember and erase his identity completely. He doesn't. So in the game, you have no idea the character you're playing is actually Revan, and you don't find out until at the very end of the game, and you're like, "Bruh, what kind of mind fuck just happened to me?" I'm probably like 17, 16 years old. It's 3 a.m. I'm fucking drinking tons of Mountain Dew, and I just found out my main character is Revan, and my whole world
All
is
hyped
just
up on
shut.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, dude, my whole world is shattered. I'm drinking straight gamer fuel. You know what I'm saying? My hands got Funyun dust all over them. I'm like, I'm staring at my screen. I'm this close to my screen, like, I'm
Eyeballs
who?
bulging.
Yeah, I'm bloodshot red. Like, I'm who? So, dude, most insane twist of all time. If you're interested in the Revan storyline and you don't want to play the video game, you can see the book here in the pictures. You can actually get that on Audible, um, and get the full story. It is a really good story. I highly recommend it if you like Star Wars at all and you have never seen anything to do with this character before. Highly recommend it. Um, he's still not quite as cool as Rey Skywalker, but like it's pretty cool.
I mean,
And
he's so cool too. Like if you, I mean, I know you guys can see like his helmet and stuff.
mhm.
When they made the sequel
That's a
trilogy,
Mandalorian helmet, by the way.
yeah, they
He-
made he like yeah that part too. But they made Kylo Ren's look was based off of what Revan looked like
Yeah,
in
because they
like
knew
fan
people like me and you were gonna absolutely nut when we saw that.
correct.
And I did. I did. I ran out, like just for those, obviously most of the people that watch this don't really know me personally. I collect Christmas ornaments like a absolute nerd. And I ran out to Hallmark that year that Force Awakens came out and got a Kylo Ren Christmas ornament. Sick, incredibly detailed Hallmark Christmas ornament. And now every year that shit goes to the back of my tree. I'm like, oh, back of the tree you go.
Yeah.
Nobody can see that I have you.
Yeah, I mean, he's in it. This character is an insane character, super cool. I really hope that this is the route that they go because this is the type of route with like the story and the depth that they can do, where they could revitalize a franchise and really like even like I wouldn't be opposed like if they're worried about stuff like Disney's made rated R stuff before. This is one of those stories they can make a rated R series. They can make it a series. They don't have to make a movie to be honest. They can make a series and make
Dude,
it
I think it
like
needs
a
to be a
M for
movie.
mature. I would love for it to be a movie, but I'm also
I think it
scared for them to
has to
do a
be.
movie. Pretty much scared of anything that Disney puts out nowadays.
Mm.
But this is one of those things where they could make it like mature and the wars are serious, everything's bloody. They're kind of are look like they could be building that way with all the Mandalorian stuff that they've been producing. So that may be what's in the sight lines would be developing this
Well,
character, which would be very cool, but
it couldn't be with the Mandalorian because the
not the ones
timelines
that you know
don't.
now, right? But once again,
Yeah,
Disney doesn't really care. They'll just
that's
spin it.
true.
They'll
They
just spin
could
it
just
with
insert him.
they'll
But
just say, "Oh, you thought that this was year this? No, this is 2000 3000 years ago. You didn't know that." So
well,
it's
after the Disney, like Star Wars, what was it? Star Wars Celebration, it's called, where they
mhm.
show all the new trailers and stuff like that. Well, the Ahsoka trailer showed Thrawn, so it's very clear that they're going the Thrawn route, heir to the Empire storyline kind of vibe. For those that don't know, the heir to the Empire storyline, um, it was the original sequel trilogy.
Mhm.
It covered what happened to the Empire immediately after Return of the Jedi in the sequel trilogy. So it showed like it literally like right the events right after Return of the Jedi. Very cool series. Again, highly recommend that. And then my honorable mention too, real quick for my favorite non movie story. It's called Plagueis. It's a
Oh, Darth
book.
Plagueis. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
He's the one
book.
he's the one that's like the genius, right? He's the one that has the big head and then he's like a super force user.
Yeah, well, he's the one that basically Darth Sidious or Palpatine lures Anakin to the dark side with. Have you ever heard the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise? And
If I'm thinking of the right person, Darth Plagueis, his head's like super long, right? It's like super long
yeah,
and narrow. Yeah,
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 let
yeah.
me I'll Google real quick. But yeah, Darth Plagueis, the book. It kind of starts off with like talking about Darth Plagueis and like who Plagueis actually is.
Hmm.
Um, but it
Yes,
actually ends
yes,
up
yes.
being
That's one that I'm talking about. Yep.
yeah, it actually ends up being the Palpatine storyline. Like it goes into Palpatine's
Yeah, like
childhood.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, like it's really more of a Palpatine origin story than it is a Plagueis, origin story or describing Plagueis at all.
Plagueis is
Really, like
cool. He was like a
oh,
straight
he's sick.
like he was like like he wasn't like he would carry a lightsaber and stuff, but he was like a force guy. Like he was someone
He
that
was a
just
scientist too. He
he
was
would
like
just
a mad
straight up
scientist.
overwhelm you with power. Like that was his fight
Hmm.
style. And he was super cool. He was a genius.
Yeah. Yeah, he that I'm telling you, if you haven't read that book, it's on Audible again. Not sponsored by the way, obviously, because I'm still
Yet.
working my job. But
Not sponsored yet.
um, yeah, not sponsored yet. We're gonna get that Audible deal anytime.
At sign Nerdcast podcast or Nerdcast underscore podcast.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, it's on Audible. That's how I checked it out originally. After you're done listening to our podcast, go check it out.
Yeah, if you want some more Star Wars lore, that's the place to go.
Man, it's good. It's good. It in one, and it's not that long of a book. It's not that long if you're worried about the length, ladies.
Sweet.
Okay, let's wrap up with a little bit of our thoughts here on the newer stuff. Harry, I think we both know that at this point, the viewers know how we probably feel a little bit about the newer stuff.
If anyone knows me or has talked to me about it, they should absolutely know.
Um,
I'm very passionate about this part.
Harry, what do you think of the sequel trilogies?
Just gotta make sure I get this.
Stretch. Make sure you stretch. Don't pull any muscles.
Okay, I'm gonna lay the scene out for you guys. I get the news. George Lucas films are making a brand new trilogy.
All I can
I'm
hear in my head is Creed right now.
I'm
Well,
like
I
eight.
just heard.
Yeah, I'm just like 18 or 19. I think maybe I'm a little bit older. I don't remember when Force Awakens came out. When did Force Awakens come out? 2015. So no, I was much older than that.
I want to
So
say it
I'm
was
in my
2015.
20s.
Yeah.
I'm in my 20s. I'm ecstatic. I mean, like I said before these movies came out, the prequel was getting hated on a lot. Like it was known as not
Unrightly
good.
so.
Like it did terrible in the box office. It was not up to par. So I'm pumped. I'm like, new graphics. It's 2015. This shit is gonna be unreal. I saw the first trailer. My jaw dropped to the floor. I mean, I
Bro,
don't
that first
know.
trailer with Finn. Oh my
I
god.
I don't know. Like if you're like there's very few theme songs that literally give me tingles of nostalgia. And Star Wars is one of them, Harry Potter is one of them, and I would say Marvel, their music is another one, like their opening
Dude, a
scenes.
lot of the Lord of the Rings songs too.
Lord of the Rings is another one. But when I heard like whoever made the trailers for all, I'm just gonna put it this way: whoever made the trailers for all these Disney movies deserve the biggest raise of all time, because all the trailers for all these movies were incredible. They made you feel like when they do like the biggest thing for me is like when they start showing the scenes, they start slowing down the scenes, and it's like a very quiet version of like the original Star Wars song. It's like on a piano. It just gets all my emotions going. Like I'm just like, oh my god! And they show like I remember like it was yesterday. They show the X-wing, just a brand new X-wing with the brand new graphics, flying 5 feet over water, and it's flying by itself. And they show you another scene where there's like 10 of them flying, and they all open up their X-wing, and then the scene cuts, and then it
And
goes
you're
to
like,
another
what are
thing,
they doing?
and
I want to know
I'm
where they're going.
losing my mind. I'm just like, oh, I can't wait. Like this is gonna be the best. So fast forward, tickets go on sale. Instantly buy. Flickster account paid.
Same.
Credit card. Didn't have the money.
Same.
Didn't care. On my way. Get to the theater. I'm almost positive I went and saw this movie by myself. I think. Get to the theater. I'm big ass thing of popcorn, a bunch of candy, nachos and cheese, a soda. Like I'm ready to strap in because these movies were long. I think Force Awakens
It
was like
was two and a half, two and a
yeah.
half at
So it was
least.
a decent size. So I get there. Opening scene. Opening scene. I'm just strapped in. I'm freaking out. Now
Yep.
we get into a little bit of story. We open to a village. Cool. Village, awesome. Shit's going down. We hear something about Luke Skywalker. We see a little BB-8 droid. Stuff's going on. We figure out that this is a rebel pilot after we read like the opening scene credit. He's on a secret mission to try and find a map to Luke Skywalker. Cool. They say they found the map. Cool. We found the map. Then someone says we have company. I'm like, absolutely. Now we're getting shit done immediately. They show troopers fly in.
The
Everything's going
flashing lights in
crazy.
the ship. You're
Yeah,
like,
everything's
oh
going
my
crazy.
god, what is
The
this?
ship lands. The stormtroopers look crazy cool. And they come out. The new helmets look awesome. They're walking out. People are getting shot left and right. They're just murdering this village for no goddamn reason. They're just shooting everybody. They're not even asking questions. They just get onto this little village. It's like literally when I mean village, it's like a bunch of tents around a campfire. Like it's not even a village. It's like just people just camping out in the middle of the desert. Start shooting. Pa pa pa
It's
pa pa
literally
pa pa.
fucking Burning Man.
Yeah, pa 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 pa. Poe runs to his X-wing. BB-8's freaking out, telling him that they need help. He's like, "No, we can't. We got to get this out." His ship gets hit by a stray bullet. Whatever. He's screwed now. He's sitting there and he
His
looks
ship
back.
is. I just
Everyone's
want to point out that his ship is disabled by one bullet
yeah,
from a
one laser
stormtrooper.
blast, which is this is a spaceship, and this is like
That was my
one
first
little
warning sign. I was like,
yeah, one little beam of laser from a stormtrooper bullet. Which
that
if you
that
watch any Star Wars movie, those stormtrooper little laser bullets don't really do dick because everyone gets hit by them and everyone's alive. So
they
it's not
barely
like,
kill people. Yeah.
I know. So,
I
anyways,
literally was like,
yeah.
hold on a second. X-wings are shit now. What happened?
Ship gets hit. He's out. Then he does like this turnaround. He sees all these people getting murdered. He takes out his rifle. He starts popping shots. Boom, 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 boom. And then you see this big ass ship flying. It's this big ass black ship. It's fucking huge. Its wings are like fucking straight up like this. It flies down, it lands, and you just see Kylo Ren walk out for the first time. And I see this guy, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool. And then Poe, boo, takes a shot. Kylo Ren looks at it,
Hold
stops.
on, you missed an important detail here, Harry.
Which
he
one?
leaves his fucking cover to go out in the middle of the open field to fire at the fucking scary guy in all black.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that was my second warning sign. I was like,
yeah, that's
why are we dumb as fuck?
Poe may not be the best strategic land fighter. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, if it's not in a ship, he's fucking trash.
He takes a shot. Poof. Kylo Ren literally does this. Like hand out, stops it. Boom. Looks at him.
Bruh.
And
when
just
I saw that shit.
Springs him over. He's sitting there. Now, they're having a whole ass conversation. they're talking to each other. Who talk like Poe's going back and forth
Yeah,
with
and they
like
do
a
a
little comedy relief.
little Marvel
Yeah,
joke.
comedic relief. Who talks? I talk. You talk. How's this work? Whatever. Kylo
Yeah.
runs straight to the point. Give me the map. Blah blah. The guy's like, no. Blah blah. This fucking beam of laser still sitting there right beside them. He's not even. Kylo Ren's not even paying attention to it. It's just there. He's not even thinking about it. That's how strong they're portraying this character to be. He's not even thinking about it. His force power is so strong that this thing is sitting outside of his force field of protection, and he's
Yeah.
having a conversation with this guy, talking to his stormtroopers, talking to his captains, all kinds of shit. Then whatever happens, they bring Poe onto the ship. He's sitting there. The captain comes up to him, boss, what do you want to do with the villagers? And then he just goes, I think he says terminate them, and walks away and just gets on his ship. And then as soon as he walks away, he's like literally walking on a ship. Then that light, that laser beam that he was holding hits the
Yeah.
ground, big explosion. And then there's like, all right, troopers, everyone line up. And they start fucking murdering all the villagers. And I was like, huh. Now this is me. I'm like Sean said, I'm a huge Darth Vader fan. Darth Vader was ruthless.
Hmm.
I see that, I'm like, holy shit, this guy is fucking strong. Like he just did all of that and he was ruthless. He said kill, he said fuck them kids and said kill that whole village. Like
And
he didn't even
we've
care.
literally never seen anybody do that before with the blaster,
Nothing as
holding the
powerful
blaster
as
in midair.
nothing as powerful as
So
that.
instantly you're hard. And then what happens?
I'm like,
What
holy
happens, Harry? What happens to this
I'm like,
character?
holy
Can you
fuck, this
please
is
tell
gonna
me
be
what
the
happens to this
coolest
character
thing
at the end of the
ever.
movie? What
He's sick. Okay.
yeah,
And
and what
then
happens to him? What
and
happens to him at
then
the end of the movie, Harry?
well, there's a couple things that happen. I'm glad you asked, Sean. There's a couple things that
Yeah,
happened that actually got me
I
like,
can't
oh,
remember.
I'm actually upset. So we get to the Poe escapes, which is this is another. So the first half of the movie so far is insane, super cool. Poe has Finn that helps him escape the starship, the Death Destroyer, and they get in this TIE fighter, and the TIE fighter scene is fucking sick. They're going and they're shooting all the cannons off this fucking Death Destroyer or Star Destroyer, whatever it's called, and they fucking fly onto Jakku, I think it's Jakku,
Yeah, yeah,
and they
Jakku.
fall in, and then they think he's dead. Finns goes and finds she who
I mean,
must
he
not be
should be
named.
dead.
Yeah, should be dead. They fall, whatever, and then the story starts of Rey, and after that character is introduced, the whole plot goes downhill,
Oh, Ray
and
Skywalker, you mean?
yeah, the whole plot goes downhill. This now you have Kylo Ren, who's a strong character who they're showing in the first movie. They're showing him have contact with Snoke, and he's talking to Snoke, and he's talking to a Sith leader, a Sith Lord, who's
Wait, who's
trained him
Snoke? I don't
personally.
remember him. Can you tell me any
Like,
backstory on him or?
no, he's not that important. You just know that he's a Sith Lord, and he dies by one swing.
Yeah.
Um, so they have him showing like this badass bitch that's this another Sith Lord that's obviously has been they mentioned that he was behind almost everything that Palpatine was doing. Like he was like the guy behind everything. Like he was like this master planner almost. And he's the one that personally trained Kylo Ren. So Kylo Ren's supposed to be this big bad Sith guy. Like he's supposed to be Darth Vader times 10. Like that's what they're portraying to be. 30 minutes later, man has an interaction with Ray, and he has a bitch fit and takes off his helmet, and you see his face in the first fucking movie. The villain from every single Star Wars movie, or
And
think of
not only do you
any
see his
movie in
face,
general,
but he
any
takes
movie
his
in
fucking
general,
helmet off and he looks like Prince Eric from fucking Little Mermaid. You're like, hold
any
on, what? Why doesn't he have a
any
scar or
or does he have
anything?
something? Why is he wearing a mask? Why is he wearing that? Why is he wearing a breathalyzer? Why is he doing all of this? So that
He's
he can
got
look like
fucking
granddad.
identity issues.
Yeah, so he can look like granddad. He has daddy issues. So
Yeah,
I want to look like granddad. Darth Vader was
yeah.
cool. Like that was why I had a fucking
Literally,
mask on.
literally. I did that
But
shit when I was
I
9.
would have had zero issue if they would have just kept this motherfucker's identity a secret. Don't show me the villain's face that you just made this antagonist, or you did all this build up. Don't show me his face and then have him have a bitch fit in a room like a
Bitch,
child, and everyone hears it, and everyone's like, all the stormtroopers like, oh, that guy's a fucking psycho. Like
yeah.
that guy's a
You know,
child. Like he got a minor inconvenience.
to this day, I still haven't seen Master Chief's face, and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, like what? Like why? Like the amount of anticlimactic that it created was I was no longer connected to the character.
It
As soon as they took his mask off and showed his face, he was not a villain anymore. He was just
it was
another
almost like
character.
they took it. He took his mask off when he met Ray. He took his mask off, and it was almost like to show. He was like, "Oh, I got this mask on. You don't think I can pull bitches?" And then he took his
Yeah.
helmet off. He's like, "I can pull bitches."
It was
Um,
just so
it was so
corny.
dumb.
It was
It,
such a stupid decision. Like they could have made this guy, like they had him. He had a cool lightsaber. He had
mhm.
everything he
Very
needed to
unique.
be.
You've never
He
seen
had
anything like that.
no, he had a hilt. Like it was super cool. He had everything that you needed the new villain of a franchise to be. And they like looked at the original trilogy and they're like, yeah, fuck that noise. We want everyone to know who he is exactly on the first movie. Like you didn't fucking know
Yeah.
who Darth Vader was until the last movie.
You knew nothing. You knew he was
You knew nothing about
dangerous,
him.
and that's it.
You knew
You
that
knew
he
he
was
was
Luke
about
Skywalker's father in the second movie at the end, and then in the
yeah,
third movie you find out his name is Anakin. So
yeah,
it's
in the
like,
first movie, all you know about him is that he will not hesitate to choke a bitch.
yeah, he'll kill
And
anybody.
that's it. He will
But it's
choke
like
you. He will choke you out.
they did such a character regression in like 45 minutes. Like they showed like this badass character at the beginning. All the troopers were scared of him. All of the captains were scared of him. The pilot or the captain of the ship was petrified of him when he threatened him. You better fucking go find the pilot or else it's on you and I'm not going to be happy. And the guy was like shitting his pants. And then they went to like this fucking teenage boy that couldn't handle his emotions. It was swinging his lightsaber in a control room and damaging his own equipment, which like you can have a bitch fit, that's fine. But Darth Vader's bitch fit was I'm going to kill five of my employees. That was Darth Vader's bitch fit. I'm going to choke out five troopers and make a point, and then everyone's scared of me. Not I'm gonna close the door and scream at my pillow and hope no one hears. Like that's what
Yeah.
Kylo Ren did. And it was like as soon as they did that, they ruined the character. It was no longer cool. And then fast forward some more into this movie, this Jedi, this Sith Lord that's been training since he was a kid, who you find out's been trained by not only Snoke but has been trained by Luke Skywalker himself. So he's had all the best training you could possibly have on both sides of the coin, and then he gets beat by a sand peasant named Ray that's
Dude,
never
a
swung
fucking sand peasant. Oh my
that's never
god.
swung a weapon in her
She had
life
a
besides a long staff.
Ryan, she had a fucking stick. I'll have you know.
She had a stick that she beat up midgets on Jakku when they try to steal BB-8. Like that was the only fight scene you saw her do. So it's like I just don't understand what the thought process was on trying to make essentially Ray had the easiest hero struggle of all time. Her biggest hero struggle was to get Luke
it,
Skywalker to like
it
her.
was
That was it.
non-existent. It was
Her biggest struggle was
non-existent.
literally a popularity contest for Luke Skywalker to like her. That was it. That was she didn't have a enemy to overcome. There was no one to overcome. Um, Kylo Ren was useless. She beat him on the first go round in the
Yep.
Force in the first movie, and she didn't even know what she was doing. She was just swinging a lightsaber
Yeah.
around, and this guy was trained as a Sith Lord,
Hmm.
and he didn't even use the Force once against her. Like as soon as she walked up, he could have easily choked her out, just like Darth Vader did, and then she would have been like, "Oh fuck, like I need training," and then that would have been fine. But instead, they're
Yeah.
like, no, let's give her a chance. Let's
Why
make her
not have Han Solo bail her out in that
yeah,
final scene of the movie?
literally
Why not
anything
have Kylo Ren be about to kill her and then Han
on the
Solo
brink of
fucking
killing her. Literally,
yeah, non-lethal shoots Kylo Ren, shoots his own son to save this character, and Kylo
hmm
Ren like maybe Han shoots again and Kylo Ren reflects that shit back and kills him or something like that.
yeah.
Like
That
unintentionally or whatever,
anything
but
would have been better than what they did. But once again, they did that, and then after that scene, the next movie,
oh, all the way
which was
downhill.
I don't even recognize that as a Star Wars movie. That's how bad it was. Ray went a whole movie without training or showing a single ounce of any type of studying or uh, increasing her knowledge in any way, and was automatically in another play field than what Kylo Ren was, and she was literally like there was no oversight. She was just with the rebels,
Hmm.
and like the Leia thing, like I don't know how I feel about the whole Princess Leia thing with the ship thing. That was kind of weird too, like with her do it
Well,
with the
turning
when
into Mary
the
Poppins.
yeah, that was weird too. Like I'm more so okay with that if they would have like kind of described what was going on. I understand she was force sensitive,
I
but
wasn't okay with that shit at all.
it was just like they just added it to added it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they essentially the whole sequel trilogy was ruined in my eyes as soon as Kylo Ren took his helmet off. As soon as he took his helmet off, unless they introduced another villain like Snoke, which they did introduce Snoke, but
Who
Snoke
was
got
cool, by the way. Who
yeah,
was cool.
Snoke
Like
was awesome,
that
and
was a cool concept.
he had the Imperial guards with him, and those things they were badass. And or were they guards or knights? Were they Imperial
They
knights?
were they're called Praetorian guards.
Okay,
Praetorian
but
guards.
he had them, and they had their red suits look fucking sick. That
Hmm.
fight scene was.
They're
I don't
actually
know
in
if it.
this latest season of Mando.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say the fight scene was sick, but it was definitely cool. And then
It was shot well.
yeah, it was
Cinematography
the
was
scene
cool.
that they set was very cool. The room was cool.
Yeah.
The outfits
The
were cool.
colors worked really well together.
Yeah, and
Artistically
then
speaking, like it looked good. But if you go back and watch that fight scene
it's
and break it
terrible.
down, it's a really bad fight scene.
It has so
Um,
many plot holes. They kill Snoke in one fucking lightsaber swing. I thought it was a joke. Like I thought that Snoke was such a strategist that it was just like they thought that they killed him, and then he was just gonna be like, "Yeah, that's not me. That's a mirage." Nope,
yeah,
they
I was
actually killed
hoping
him,
that. I
and
was
then
hoping.
they killed him, and then they didn't even say anything. It was just like, "Oh, character's dead." Next scene, and like that was it. This is a big bad Sith Lord dead. Nope, character scene's over. All right, cool. I'm a good guy now. I helped
Yeah.
Ray. I'm Ray's
Um,
boyfriend. I'm Kylo Ren.
so
I'm Ray's boyfriend.
you've kind of summed up, basically most of how we feel, I think, on the newer stuff. I'm just gonna go over a quick list of the newer stuff in my opinion on it. I'm not gonna qualify any of the statements I'm about to say. I'm not gonna tell you why I think that. I'm gonna tell you what I think, and you can comment down below if you would like us to go over anything else, related to these shows or anything like that in more detail and tell you why we think what we think. And I think Harry probably will agree with most of what I'm about to say. So let's go down the list. And if I haven't seen it, I'll say I haven't seen it. Mandalorian season 1, good. Season 2, shit until Luke Skywalker shows up. Season 3, I just finished it up. It's fucking terrible. It's so boring. Nothing happens the entire season until the last like 2 episodes, and it doesn't justify waiting 2 years in between seasons. Literally nothing happens. Next, the Obi-Wan show, complete fucking butt cheeks, like utter buns.
Zero
Whoever
storyline.
decided, whoever decided that we were gonna let Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight again, I think they didn't bring their helmet to work with them that day. They forgot their helmet at home. Like, how fucking dumb are you? Next, how about this? Rogue One. Rogue One I actually liked a lot.
I actually was pleasantly surprised, and obviously the last scene of the movie is
Oh,
one of the coolest Star Wars scenes of all time.
yeah, Rogue One. I like that movie a lot. Solo.
Surprisingly,
Solo, the movie released right after it.
terrible.
What a fucking shit movie. Absolute and utter shit.
I'm not gonna
Um
lie, you're not gonna like this statement, but it kind of reminded me a lot of the first Captain America.
Oh, you're fucking brain dead. You're the one. You're the one that came up with the storyline for Obi-Wan. I figured it out.
Like it was very similar, like the train, like the snow train, like some of the things that happened was
You're
just
a
so.
vegetable. You're a vegetable. Your brain doesn't work. Next, Andor. I actually have heard. I haven't watched Andor,
I
but
have not watched Endor.
I will say, and there's a reason why I haven't watched Andor. Did you hear all the things that I just said were shit? That's why I haven't watched Andor. But I will say that I've heard from a lot of people that Andor is probably the best thing that they've seen from Star Wars on Disney Plus. Um, So I'll give him that. Um, the Force Awakens. Force Awakens, I really enjoyed the first time I watched it, but if you go back and watch it again, it doesn't really hold up very well. And what I will say about the Force Awakens is that I believe that there was some good setup there that they could have taken advantage of, and that is the length of my explanation on that. The Last Jedi. I have never, I've never in my life had to take so much fucking copium after watching a movie. Like, I left that movie theater after watching The Last Jedi, and I was like, that movie wasn't that bad. Like, it was pretty good. It had Star Wars stuff in it. Like, I went down a checklist in my mind of like all the things that are in Star Wars. Space battle, check. Lightsaber battle, check. Force powers, check. All of it is in The Last Jedi. But also, like, if you're making a recipe, right? Like, say you're making dinner, and you're like, all right, I want to make some, I don't know, I want to make some chicken parm, right? Well, what's in that recipe? Well, you got breadcrumbs, you got cheese, and you got some chicken. But you fucking make like the entire patty of chicken out of the breadcrumbs, and you put like one little chicken strip on top of that, and you just sprinkle just a little bit of cheese. Like, it was all fucked up, man. It was all fucked up. You get it and you're like, yeah, technically that is a chicken parm. Technically I am looking at chicken parm right now. Like, it has all the components.
Just ass
However,
backwards.
it's fucking shit.
Deconstructed.
Yeah, it's complete dog shit. So that's my opinion on The Last Jedi. If you want me to go through more why I think that, comment down below. We'll do it in another episode. And then last but not least, the creme de la creme, the last movie of the Skywalker saga. And that pains me to even say that. The rise of fucking dog shit. The Rise of Skywalker. What so even after The Last Jedi came out, and I was like, I took a whole bunch of copium just to convince myself that it was a passable movie. Even after I realized it sucked and it was terrible,
I saw that
I
on
still,
Christmas Day too. It
yeah,
ruined my
I still,
Christmas. It ruined my
brother,
Christmas.
I drug
Both
my
times.
yeah,
Both movies.
I dragged my fucking wife out to a matinee the day the movie comes out, like 10:30 in the morning, because I was like, dude, I need to see what's going on with Luke fucking Skywalker.
I'm pretty sure they both came out Christmas Day, December
Yeah,
25th.
around that time at least. And I remember going to that movie theater and just watching Luke take that lightsaber and throw it over his shoulder like a slapstick comedy style. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's not my Luke Skywalker. Anyway, Rise of Skywalker, complete shit, dog shit, no explanation. If you want,
What do you mean? Ray tripled her power base with no training.
dude, what do you
She
mean?
she she
Hold on,
slapped
hold
a
on.
she
Don't
slapped a rock.
be
She slapped
slinging
a rock
mud.
on a rock.
Don't be slinging mud at my dog Ray now, okay? She trained in that movie. She ran that little fucking racetrack at the beginning, like at least 2 times.
And she showed
And
restraint with the
she put
lightsaber
a whole
on the
fucking
rock.
she put a whole fucking tree on top of BB-8.
She did.
She slammed
But
my dog.
she also
Oh,
she also showed restraint when she was like using the lightsaber on the rock. She's like, I'm gonna hit this rock. No, I'm not. Control. Right
yeah.
before. Didn't hit it.
Yeah, I don't hit
So
rocks.
nope.
I'm rehabilitated.
Mm-hmm.
Then she also, not only did she get better at fighting and everything else,
Mm-hmm.
apparently she's also a better pilot than the best pilot in the Resistance, Poe Dameron. When I'll
Mm-hmm.
never forget this line because I almost fucking threw up. I went to see this movie by myself at night in like the shittiest movie theater just because it was like the closest one to my house at the time.
You
And
didn't want anyone to see him.
I wore this hoodie and I just fucking went in there like this, like fucking like, one for Star Wars, please.
Whatever that. What one One for whatever that Star Wars movie or whatever that sci-fi movie
Uh,
is that's out there.
the laser sword movie.
The laser sword.
So, who's the one with that lesbian in it? I want to watch that one.
Oh no.
so, so, so I go see that movie, and then they're doing the scene where they're light speed skipping to other planets, even though they clearly in every other movie said you don't ever want to do that. Very bad idea. And Poe gets them, but Poe gets them out of that situation. When they get back, Finn just goes, or no, they're in the ship still. Finn just goes, if Ray was here, we wouldn't need to do this. And fucking Poe is like, well, she's not here, bro. She's training. And then he goes, I don't even know why she's training. And I'm like, fucking me either, bro. It's 2 movies too late. She's already fucking all powerful. Why is she training? Good fucking point,
Yeah,
bro.
she's using the dark side with all the
Yeah,
non-training she is.
dark side of D's
She's
nuts,
shooting
okay?
lightning out of her fucking hands.
Yeah, she's fucking shooting lightning out of her butthole, fucking destroying entire spacecrafts with
Passenger
not
crafts.
Chewie on it.
Yeah.
Like what a dumb fake out that was, by the way, in that movie. She fucking lightnings an entire ship and destroys it, thinking Chewie's on it. Then she fucking autistically screeches Chewie's name. Then literally the next scene is Chewie going, "Hey, what's up, boys? I'm good.
I'm still here.
Just handcuffed. I'm all good though.
I'm alive."
Dude, oh my god. Anyway, that was more than I wanted to give you guys about how I feel about that movie. So overall score for Rise of Skywalker, it's a shit out of 10. A complete shit out of 10. And that is my final score. If you'd like more on that, drop a comment below.
The only cool scenes that are in that movie are
Harry
the
and
ones
I
that
will
literally happen in
record
the
an entire
trailer.
episode. They fly now? They fly now. Oh my god, I'm fucking cringing thinking about it. Fucking Christ. Anyway, I think that's gonna about cover it. We did go a little longer than we anticipated, per the usual for Harry and I.
Seems to be the usual, yeah. Seems
It's
to be a
gonna
new
be
theme.
it's gonna be a theme. So sorry. Hope you had a long drive to work to listen to this on. And if you didn't get a fucking job, you loser, what are you waiting for? I don't know. But we do want to thank you guys again for listening as always. We really appreciate it. I know that we had a little bit of a break in between episode 2 and 3, and that's just because you guys aren't listening enough, and we're not making any money yet. So listen more.
That is not true. I went on my honeymoon, so there was a little week break in between, but we'll be back to regular schedule. But seriously, there's not enough of you listening.
Yeah, please share with a friend. So we want to thank you guys for being patient with us, and to all 2 of the people that reached out to me in our Instagram messenger and asked where episode 3 was. Big appreciate. It really kind of made my day seeing that, even if it was just a half of a person reached out to me and was like, that's an Anakin joke, by the way. Even if a half of a person reached out to me and was like, "Oh, where's episode 3 at?" I'd be absolutely blown away that somebody cared enough to be like, "Oh, damn, I've been waiting for that next Nerdcast." So thank you guys so much.
Cool, very cool.
May the 4th be with you all.
Yes, may the 4th be with you guys.
And we will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.
Yes, sir. Peace.